If we look at who started the game, Fernandes was on the bench. How was Donny van de Beek's performance today? I'm sure a lot of eyes have been on him today, Ryan. He's always in the papers. Every time I work with someone from the Netherlands who's either a player or manager or a coach like René Meulensteen, all of them have come out to say that Donny van de Beek needs to play football. But did he convince you today that he's the man to start games?
Well, the problem he's got is in the same position as Fernandes. That's his favoured position. Of course, he can play. He's played off the right. He's played a little bit deeper. But ideally, that's his best position. He did okay today. I thought he did okay. Nothing special. But it's hard. It's hard coming into a game. I know Rhys Williams is younger, but you've seen how hard it is when you're not playing regularly to come into a big game like that. It's not easy. So, and he knows that the pressure's on him. The eyes are on him, which, yeah, you should expect when you're at a team like United, but I think he'll be okay. I think he'll be okay in the long run. I think when you look at the bench of United over the last 2 or 3 months, looks really, really strong. And you've seen again the impact that the bench has had, and I think that's a good sign when you have good players playing well, and then you have good players on the bench as well who can come off the bench and make an impact. And the games will come thick and fast soon. You know, there's a lot of games this season squeezed into a short space of time. Europa League, now the FA Cup, and of course a lot of league games. So you'll need the squad, and the players have to be ready to, when they're called upon, to make an impact.
But the thing, Didi, is with Van de Beek, he's come from Ajax. He's come from playing knockout Champions League football. He came within a whisker of making it to the Champions League final not too long ago. He's a Dutch international, and the Dutch team have had a revival of sorts in recent years. He won't want to be a squad player, will he?
No, he doesn't. But, you know, I think the strength of United is to have 20 or 22 players in the squad where you can chop and change, and the performances don't really deteriorate. And this is the situation at his first season. I think it's a big stepping stone or a learning curve for him as well, because the players he's playing with, the players he trains with, will be better than he experienced at Ajax, even though he did get to a Champions League semi-final. And the Dutch league is obviously not as demanding and as physical as a Premier League. So I think he will learn every single day. I think today he's done okay, especially at the beginning of the game. I think he had a few very nice touches where you could see that he's a very skillful and a good player. But he's just got to bide his time. And it's hard in a game like this because it's 100 miles an hour. You haven't played for a long time. And sometimes the pace of the game can catch you out if you haven't got a rhythm, which he obviously hasn't got. So I think to judge him, we need to see him over 5, 6, 8, 10 games in a row. If he does get them, maybe not this season, but I think further down the line he will get them. And then I think we will show his true colours and will show everybody that he's a United player.
Well, it can be, I guess, hard to be a squad player at a club like Manchester United. I'm just going to guess that footballers, all they want to do is to play football on the big stage. That's the dream, and you're living the dream. And Ryan, I know you would have to tread carefully with the answer here. I completely understand, and if you don't want to go into it, we don't have to. But someone like Dan James, who you would know as the national team manager, he's not getting much game time either. Jesse Lingard, today, they apparently, United have sanctioned him to be able to go out on loan at least. He hasn't started a game in the league in a very, very long time. So how does Ollie keep all these individuals happy, and what's your advice to them?
Well, Ollie's got to be careful because obviously he doesn't want to get rid of players and all of a sudden, you know, he has a load of injuries like Liverpool have had. And then, you know, he's got rid of players that if he would have kept, he would have been in a lot better position. You know, we're in unknown territory, you know, where you don't have a lot of time, pre-season, a lot of games squeezed into a short space of time. So I would imagine Ollie would just take the safe option and try and keep as many quality players in the club as he can. And yes, it will be frustrating. I know that Dan is frustrated, just like any other player who isn't getting regular football. But when you're at a big club like United, you have to, when you get the chance, take it. And like I said, the bench can contribute. You know, the bench can contribute whether it be now or later in the season in the more important games.
As a national team manager, I'm sure you wish that Dan James was playing more, though. Match sharpness is not something you can do at Carrington or any other training ground. It has to be done on the pitch in competitive football matches.
Yeah, it does. It does. I mean, as a national coach, it is a fine balance that players playing too many games. There's also the counter argument that, you know, you're going to the Euros a little bit fresher and not played a load of games. So, but of course, you want your players, Diddy mentioned it before, that rhythm. You know, when you get into a rhythm of just playing and recovery, the odd training session and then playing again, there's nothing better than that. You can't replace that. But when you're at a big club, sometimes you need to be patient. And like I said, when you get your chance, you have to take it.
The reason I'm asking all of this is I was looking at some of the stats. So for the last year, or last calendar year, Didi, Manchester United players that have been used a lot, Maguire is top. So he's played more minutes than any other footballer in Europe's top 5 divisions. Now, that includes goalkeepers. But you can throw onto the list some of the other names. For domestic football, at least, Rashford is up there. Wan-Bissaka is up there. Bruno Fernandes now. And if you compare the Manchester United players with that was at City, all those players have got over 3,000 minutes of football. At Manchester City, only one player does. That's Edison, the goalkeeper. It looks like Ollie has a team he likes. It looks like he doesn't want to rotate too much. He doesn't dare to, in case results go against him.
Yeah, well, it's a fine line. You know, I think sometimes you have to rest players. Now, the players you were mentioning here, whether it's Pogba, whether it's Rashford, whether it's Maguire, they're pretty young lads. You know, they should be able to play 45, 50 games a season. But I think what you have to also take into account and consider, if you don't play the players from number 14 to 22, if you don't use them for a number of weeks, their condition will fall a lot further behind the ones who are playing, because obviously when you play thick and when the games come thick and fast, you can't train an awful lot. Obviously, the ones who are not playing always train a bit more, but I think you have to try to keep everybody at the same level. And I think maybe in the next few weeks, remains to be seen. Obviously, the Europa League starts again. Remains to be seen how often he will rotate the players, because of course he wants to play with his first 11 or 12. But if he wants to finish a season with the best 14 or 15 players, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I don't think they're going to win the league, because you need to use the whole squad. You need to rest your players. You need to keep a Rashford. You need to keep a Pogba. You need to keep a Fernandes, as we've seen today. You need to keep him fresh. And I think we see these squad players more and more. And to come back to Van de Beek from beforehand, you know, if the team does well, as a player on the bench, you haven't really got any arguments. I think it's a lot easier to be on the bench when the team is successful. If the team wasn't doing well and he didn't get any minutes, I think he'd be very frustrated and say to the manager, he'll knock on his door and say, manager, what's going on here? The team's not doing well. Why do I not get an opportunity? The way United is playing at the moment, you know, I think that the guys on the bench from number 12, 13, 14 to 20, I don't think they've got many arguments to knock on the manager's door to say, I should be playing.